Welcome to Wobbles and Wire. Today we're talking about the severe allegations of inappropriate conduct involving a member of parliament. What we're looking at today, it really seems to go beyond the usual political back and forth. This is about, well, quite an unprecedented step by several governing coalition MPs. They're actually demanding disciplinary action against the Pendang member of parliament, Datuk Awang Hashim. It's not about policy, not about funding disputes. This is all about language used right there in parliament. Remarks considered so offensive they've insulted huge groups of people and even institutions.
Yes, the gravity here is, well, it's significant.
Yeah.
You don't often see a formal motion from the governing side against an opposition MP purely for verbal conduct. It really signals a push to define, maybe redefine, the boundaries of parliamentary privilege. The stakes feel immense because this case is essentially testing whether political speech can justify language that, well, that invokes damnation on whole areas and shows disrespect to traditional authority. It's fundamentally about setting a precedent for behavior in our highest legislative body.
Okay, so let's pin down the specifics, the timing, the actual words used. This motion, filed November 3rd, 2025, it pointed to two specific instances, both involving public comments by the Pendang MP. One happened back on October 15th, the other just a week before the motion was filed. Right, the first one involved Malacca City, Kota Malacca. He apparently called it Cursed City, Kota Chalaka. Now that's obviously derogatory. But the second comment, that seems to carry even more weight, culturally, religiously, referring to Hulu Langat as a cursed Hulu or Hulu Laknat. Public reaction, you could feel it, it was immediate.
That term, Hulu Laknat, that's really the crux of it, isn't it? And we need to unpack why it's so potent. The National Trust Party MP for Hulu Langat himself, he quickly spelled out why this language is seen as so profoundly damaging. He argued it's not just being rude, it's like verbal aggression rooted in religious offense. See, the word laknat, accursed, it's not used lightly, not at all. It has serious weight in religious contexts. It's the kind of language used in the Quran specifically for figures of, well, absolute evil, figures rejected perpetually. Think Satan, the devil, Pharaoh. So to slap that label onto a place, it implies the location itself, maybe even the people there, are under some kind of divine curse or condemnation.
And imagine being a resident there, hearing that. The implication feels deeply personal, maybe even frightening. The Hulu Langat MP actually posed the question directly, didn't he? Asking the Pendang MP, were you literally trying to curse the 1.5 million people living in Hulu Langat? Just the scale of that. It's staggering when you think about how many citizens might feel targeted by that single word.
Exactly. That's the key difference. It wasn't just, typical political mudslinging calling someone incompetent or corrupt. This was aimed squarely at the dignity, the very status of a place and all its inhabitants. It pulls the conflict out of the purely political arena and puts it right into the cultural, the communal space.
And the offense didn't stop with the population, did it? It seemed to escalate pretty quickly into challenging high authority. The Hulu Langat MP pointed out something crucial. The name Hulu Langat itself was officially sanctioned by the Sultan of Selangor. So when you publicly use a term implying damnation against a place, and that place's name has royal assent, well, you're not just insulting residents anymore. You're seen as being disrespectful to the Sultan himself, the sovereign head of the state. That really elevates the offense, doesn't it? It turns a political outburst into a major breach of decorum, with implications way beyond Parliament's walls.
That's absolutely critical for you listening to grasp. In our system, the sultans, the state rulers, they hold this constitutional, this traditional role. Protectors of custom, tradition. So insulting a place linked to their name, their consent. It's seen as chipping away at the constitutional fabric itself. It forces the issue onto the desk of the entire government, not just the party squabbling. It has to be taken seriously.
And we saw that local impact too, right? Cursed City comment about Malacca. The Democratic Action Party MP from Malacca City, he was one of the ones filing the motion, reported real anger, real dissatisfaction from his constituents. People there found the remark deeply insulting, unacceptable. It confirms these words spoken in Parliament. They don't stay there. They hit home. They affect community morale.
Yes, the local feeling clearly soured. So what's the next step for politicians who want more than just public apologies? They use the system. And the government MPs, they didn't just issue statements, they went formal. They filed an official motion directly with the Speaker of the lower house, Tan Sri Hari Abdul. They demanded not just notice, but a prompt investigation and, crucially, appropriate action, punishment.
Right. Going to the Speaker like that, it signals they view this as a failure within the legislature itself, not just a moral lapse outside it. This formal route forces accountability under the House's own rules. They're basically asking the institution to police itself, enforce its own standard.
And they were quite specific about how they wanted it enforced. The MPs explicitly recommended referring the Pendang MP to the Parliamentary Special Committee. That's also known as the Special Select Committee.
Okay, that committee. What kind of power does it actually wield? Why is being sent there such a big deal?
Well, think of the Parliamentary Special Committee as the House's internal disciplinary body. Its core function is investigating breaches of privilege, issues of conduct within Parliament. It's like an ethics committee, essentially. If they investigate and find misconduct, they can recommend various sanctions. That could be anything from a public telling off to fines, or even in serious cases, suspension from Parliament for a set time. So being referred means that MP faces a real, tangible threat to his ability to even do his job.
And the legal basis they're using for this whole thing, that's probably key for anyone following the procedure here. The government coalition MPs, they're pushing for action under Standing Order 36A. What does that specific rule allow?
Standing Order 3610. That's the procedural tool, the hammer, if you like, in this situation. Put simply, this rule lets any MP propose a motion against another MP whose behavior shows contempt for the House. Or if their behavior is seen as abusive, irrelevant, or maybe likely to just obstruct the proper running of the House. It is the formal pathway for demanding an investigation when someone's actions are thought to have lowered the dignity of Parliament.
Okay, so by invoking 3610, they're basically arguing that using that kind of religiously charged, damning language against whole constituencies, against royal institutions, the Pendang MP was essentially holding the entire House in contempt. That's the claim. It makes the fight official, takes it out of the realm of just opinions, and puts it under parliamentary law.
Precisely. And we should remember, politicians trade barbs all the time. Heated words are common. But actually triggering a formal procedure like this, that carries political risk, even for the coalition doing it. It requires the speaker to be impartial, and it could potentially create a new standard that maybe even their own members might face down the line if they cross a similar line. It shows a commitment or perhaps a political need to treat these kinds of insults with utmost seriousness.
So wrapping our heads around this, what does it mean for you, the citizen, watching all this unfold? This whole situation forces us to think about free speech within Parliament itself. Where do you draw the line? When does robust, even aggressive political debate, which you need in a democracy, cross over into deliberate insult, character assassination, especially aimed at vast populations or key institutions like the Sultanate?
Yeah, and this motion, whatever the outcome, is likely setting a clearer standard for the future. It's sending a strong signal. Use language that invokes damnation, whether it's religious or cultural, target a specific region or its people like this. And you could now face formal sanctions under Parliament's rules, specifically that Standing Order 3610. It really forces everyone in the House, regardless of party, to be much more conscious of the power and the potential consequences of the words they choose. Maybe the era of casual but deeply offensive verbal attacks is being challenged.
Ultimately, this case really boils down to the responsibility of elected officials, respecting the diversity, the dignity of the people and the places they represent. The decision on this motion could really shape the behavioral norms on the floor of the House for years to come. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.